Tonight on CTV, suicide prevention is here to spark up important conversations, and Call Out CSU is striving to push these conversations further.
Then, hear about the blood supply shortage in northern Colorado and learn about ASCSU and how the organization plans to support on-campus student clubs.
All this and more tonight on CTV. Good evening, Rams. I'm JJ Mckinney.
And I'm Mattison Brumagim. Thank you for joining us tonight.
The world's longest serving monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, passed away earlier today. Her family joined her at her Balmoral Castle in Scotland due to the doctor's concerns for her health. She peacefully passed away not long after. Her son, Charles, will now become king. Associate Professor of Political Science at CSU, Peter Harris, spoke to Source CSU earlier. In the Q&A, he said it is unclear how the English population will respond to a monarch that is not Elizabeth. He also said one thing that could change is that other Commonwealth realms like Australia and New Zealand could become independent republics. Only time will tell. From all of us here at CTV, we send our condolences to the royal family.
An Estes Park resident was arrested on September 3rd on account of child sex crimes. LCSO investigators and the Strategic Enforcement Unit arrested Kevin Thomas Ryan after a tip originated from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Illegal images of children were downloaded to an IP address at Ryan's home. Investigators also learned that he had sexual contact with a minor and believe there may be more victims. Ryan was booked into Larimer County Jail on the following charges: attempted sexual assault on a child, enticement of a child, internet exploitation, and luring of a child, and obscenity. Anyone with information regarding the case is encouraged to contact investigator Justin Atwood at 970-498-5143.
Mental health is a big deal amongst the college and high school student population.
Our live reporter, Gavin Wolf, joins us live in the studio to discuss Suicide Prevention Week. Gavin?
Thanks, Madison. Dealing with mental health can be hard to talk about, but National Suicide Prevention Week is here to help start the conversation.
We have the stigma in our community where it's like, oh, mental health shouldn't be a thing, we shouldn't talk about it, but it's the polar opposite. We should talk about mental health. People's mental health does matter.
After losing a friend to suicide, seniors Jake Knight and Sean Johnson have learned the importance of talking about mental health.
It touches every single person you meet, and even if it's not something that they're personally dealing with in their daily life themselves, there's probably somebody that's super close to them that's dealing with it in the worst of ways. Mm-hmm. And it affects all of us because we don't want to see those people that we really care about feeling those things.
And when it comes to helping others, perspective is everything.
There's so much darkness in the world, no one could count. There's a whole nother sunrise the next day. Helping your friend look at the sunrise and not focusing on the darkness is why you should be friends. Caring about people genuinely, wanting to see other people happy, and that goes a super long way, more so than anything else.
With Colorado ranking in the top 10 highest state suicide rates, it's important to educate and raise awareness.
I really want to encourage people to get trained in suicide prevention because it's not just an individual problem, it really is a community problem, and that's how we have to solve it. But as a community, if we come together, get trained, keep talking about it, it's a problem we can actually prevent.
Training resources can be found online at suicideprevent.org or through CSU's Prevention Research Center.
If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, you can text TALK to 38255 or call 988 for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Gavin. It's important to recognize some of the driving forces of deteriorating mental health. One prominent cause on CSU's campus involves hate speech. Now that the preachers have returned, tensions between CSU and students over hate speech on campus have risen once again. I was able to talk to an anonymous source who takes part in a student-led activist group called Call Out CSU about their plans to speak out against the university.
Do you have nothing better to do with your day?
The preachers of CSU have been a controversial group for years now. Whenever the weather is warm, the preachers can be seen out smack dab in the middle of Campus Plaza, spreading their ideologies to anyone willing to listen. However, some students have claimed that the pair are racist, sexist, homophobic, and verbally attacking anyone who doesn't agree with their religious views. Activist group Call Out CSU has had enough, and has began moving to push CSU to take action. A representative talks about Call Out CSU's goal against hate speech. This representative has chosen to stay anonymous after receiving several violent threats for their public protest.
Where we're an advocacy group of a voice and online presence for people to be able to reach out and say, hey, this is happening. We think the university is ignoring it. We're a forum for people to be able to send that information in, whether or not it has to do with hate speech or free speech, to just bring awareness and some accountability to the university administration.
The representative talks about the negative effect the preachers have had on campus.
If I know they're there, then I don't feel comfortable walking through campus. Makes many students feel like the university isn't standing behind its principles of community.
Now that ASCSU is back into session, the representative hopes that they are able to do something about hate speech.
I think really what I would like to see is an actual presence and an opposition of the types of things being said.
They believe systemic change has to be done by those in power. Call Out CSU encourages all students to speak up and speak out against hate speech on campus.
It really takes everybody working together to help decrease and to mitigate that harm.
Call Out CSU isn't the only group dedicated to standing up against these preachers. Do Better CSU, along with Call Out CSU's collaborations with the Pride Resource Center and the Women and Gender Advocacy Center, have all joined the fight for a safer and more inclusive campus.
Larimer County Health is urging residents to get the new COVID-19 booster. This information was released early this morning in a press release. Residents can do so by visiting the website larimerhealth.secure.force.com/vaccine.
Looks like summer's not over yet. Pruder School District couldn't handle the heat as they make plans to close its schools early for the next 2 days. The district made the decision due to high temperatures and a lack of air conditions in their buildings. The district made their announcement after parents complained of hot classrooms reaching 90 degrees Fahrenheit, raising concerns about student safety. Attempts to cool down the classroom, like using fans and opening doors, have been unsuccessful. This is no surprise considering 60% of PSD schools don't have any air conditioning or effective ways to cool down their classrooms. Students who take the bus will be dropped off from their buses and bus stops 2 hours early. The schools start at their normal times, but there won't be any after-school activities as students head home to cool off. Could these spicy temperatures cause CSU to cancel classes?
Probably not, but we can always hope, right? Up next, Adam Carlson joins us to discuss this week's weather. Stay tuned.
Welcome back from the break, Rams.
Sit back for a moment and imagine if you were in a situation that resulted in the need for a blood transfusion. Now, think about if there was no blood supply left to help. That could be a possibility with the current blood supply shortage here in Fort Collins, unless more people become regular donors. Northern Colorado is facing a severe blood supply shortage. Garth England Blood Center right here in Fort Collins is urging the community to come in and donate.
The big reason why it's so important for you to come in and donate blood is one product can save up to 3 people's lives.
Blood donor recruiter Joe Dunn explains how the severity of the shortage can be improved by not only new donors, but regular donors as well.
All blood donated here through Garth England stays in Northern Colorado. When you come in and donate, you could be saving your neighbor's life.
It's important to note key differences between donating plasma and donating blood.
The big difference between donating blood and plasma or platelets is you get hooked up to one of these lovely machines. And these machines, what they do is they separate the 3 different parts of your blood and return what we're not taking from you back to you. Platelets go to patients with cancer, and I mean we have a cancer center here on Harmony. That's usually where most of our product ends up going. So that's a huge impact to help people out. You can register online to come in and donate. You can also give our centers a call. That phone number is 970-495-8965. We even do our best to accommodate walk-ins, so even just showing up, all you got to bring is a photo ID. And then donate here. We're happy to take care of you, chat with you. We'll make sure you feel welcome at home.
It is important to note that plasma centers are for-profit organizations, and your donation can be sold anywhere. Blood donation centers are nonprofit organizations with the promise to keep your donation local and keep Northern Colorado strong.
Now that the semester is in full swing, it's time to hear about our student government, ASCSU. We now turn to our new beat reporter, Krya McKinley, with more. Krya?
Thank you, JJ. This week, I talked to students at Colorado State University to see if they knew what ASCSU is.
I do not.
I do not. Not specifically, but I do know that they bring student issues to the forefront.
As you can see, many students don't know what ASCSU is, so I spoke to Alicia Barron, a member of ASCSU, to hear more about the organization and what it is all about.
ASCSU pretty much means the Associated Students of Colorado State University, and essentially we're just representing the clubs and organizations across campus. Last week I heard that we have roughly around $200,000 for this semester, so that is sort of being counted towards all the organizations and bills that want to be passed, so we just have that in set for this semester.
Barron makes it clear that ASCSU has a lot of control in student organization and clubs. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Krya. We'll continue to update you all on ASCSU as the semester continues.
Shifting gears now toward financial news in Fort Collins. Workers across Fort Collins may be expecting an even greater payday. That is due to the fact that the Fort Collins City Council has shown support for raising the minimum wage from $15 an hour to $18 an hour. Employees from businesses across the community came to the council to argue for higher wages. The majority of employees stated that the check increase would allow them to pay for even greater expenses like health care, food, and child care, all while living comfortably. However, some workers and employers were not fond of increasing these wages, stating that the pay increase would make employers hire even less workers. Nonetheless, the majority of the council workers supported the increase, saying it was long overdue.
Cadence, Fort Collins' new apartment complex for ages 55 and older, allows residents of all incomes to experience the amenities that are ideal for a comfortable senior living community. 26% of Larimer County is estimated to be over age 60 within the next 3 years, and senior housing developments such as Cadence will help provide the growing senior populations with more low-income options for a 55 and older housing community. Volunteers of America built the apartment complex at the corner of Timberline and Drake Road. This location grants easy access to nearby shopping, such as the King Soopers across the street, various trails for exercise, and the transport bus near the front of the complex. Cadence is a low-income senior housing, but with a twist. The complex aims to have a more hotel-like feeling, such as a coffee shop, fitness center, and private conference room.
Fort Collins drivers has sped their way to first place at being some of Northern Colorado's worst drivers. A new survey ranked Colorado as the 7th worst place in the country to drive. In Northern Colorado alone, Fort Collins has taken the top of the list. According to local residents, students are the ones to blame. They say that CSU students are the main cause of why road conditions in Fort Collins have allegedly become so awful. Luckily, if you're a CSU student, you may be able to avoid all of this.
That's right, JJ. Spending Thursday nights in Old Town may become a little easier to navigate. Ramride has extended their useful collaboration with Lyft, offering flexible transportation for students, but the partnership will be including a new program this year. Lyft and Spin e-scooters have joined forces with Ramride and will now offer free rides for either service on Thursday nights from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. The Lyft code, valued at $12, can be obtained through the Ramride app. Thursday nights are commonly known for Ram Band in Fort Collins, which offers discounted drinks at 3 different bars in Old Town. With Ram Band ramming up this year, the increase of activity raises concern over CSU students having safe, affordable, and reliable transportation. Recent studies show the DUI rate for Fort Collins is almost 5 times the state average. The aim of this ride service is to ensure safety, but it is important to remember that the use of an e-scooter while under the influence is still considered to be a DUI. While hopefully not many DUIs were given out, I'm sure these two services got a lot of action over the past weekend due to one of Fort Collins' most diverse events.
Our feature reporter, Zoe Heyman, joins us live in the studio with more. Zoe?
Thanks, guys. This weekend, I got to embrace the spirit of Fort Collins at the Tour de Fat put on by New Belgium Brewing. People from all parts of the town joined together to bike, drink beer, and have fun. Celebrated the Tour de Fat this past weekend for the first time in 2 years due to COVID. Hundreds came to take part in the well-known bike parade.
My favorite part of the Tour de Fat is seeing everyone on their bikes on Mountain Road, and it's just incredible.
My favorite part of Tour de Fat is that probably the whole town came out today.
Parade spectators had a lot to say about what the tour means to them.
Parade, bike, beer, party, music, happiness.
All the personalities, all the costumes, all the fun, everyone's happy, just good times.
But there was a lot more than just biking going on.
4, 3, 2, 1!
After the bike parade, everyone headed over to New Belgium Brewing for some beer, music on the lawn, and fun with friends.
Tour de Fat is the best day of the year. Best day of the year. Best day of the year.
Tour de Fat is the happiest place on earth.
Yep.
Sorry, Disneyland.
If you're sad you missed the music, drinks, and fun, don't worry. New Belgium Brewing is hosting a concert tomorrow night from 5 to 7 in the evening with musical guest Cowboy Dave. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Zoe. With that, Rams, we've come to the end of our news for you tonight.
But stick around. Leah Kakowski is up next to discuss ongoing soccer and volleyball games. You may not want to miss it.